No, we don't go.
Hi, I'm Donna Drake, standing in for Karin Caro, and welcome to Realty Connects. How are you guys?
Doing great. How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you again.
It was nice to hear you singing the song as we came on air.
There you
I
go.
think you should sing live.
Okay. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Hey, I guess we're talking about the holiday season,
We
which are upon us.
We certainly are. And we're talking about selling a home during the holidays, and maybe some steps or some tips to help sellers and also help maybe buyers,
Sure.
have that warm, glowy feeling. Don't
Exactly.
they say that when you step foot into the threshold of a home, it's that feel, like you know it,
Yes.
more so than anything else?
Yeah. There's people actually will tell you that the minute I walked into that house, I knew it was the house I wanted. I knew it was the house that I was going to put my family in. That's happened.
Well, they'll say,
quite often.
it just felt right. I walked in and it just felt right.
Yep. So that's a good thing, of course, and once we see that sparkle in their eye, then it's just a matter of helping them get the house, making sure their finances are in order, and making sure that everything that they want to happen happens, so that the transaction goes smoothly for both the buyer and the
And
seller.
it's funny, just to talk about the sellers for a moment. Quite often, you'll have a conversation with them, and this time of the year, they'll say, well, gee, I want to take it off for a little while, it's the holidays. And you let them finish that whole thought, and then you say, and isn't it the most warm and exciting and decorated and beautiful time in your home? And they look at you and they say, yeah, but it's so busy, and people get to see how your home functions with the family and the decorations and the warmth and that wow feeling that we just said when you walk in the door and say, oh, I knew it as soon as I walked in. So all of a sudden, as that conversation continues, as a homeowner, for our homeowners that are listening now, this is a great time to still be on the market.
Yeah, in line with that, Michael, what's happened in the industry, there's been dramatic changes in the industry over the years, and obviously the internet has changed the world, not just our industry. But people used to say, well, I don't want to leave my house on the market, I don't want people coming and looking at my house or tromping through the house with wet feet and snow, and I'm trying to get the house prepared for the holidays. The point is that the generation now that's looking for houses, the millennium generation, and the buyers, the echo boomers, all the buyers that are out there looking for houses will not slow down for the holidays. The internet and the way they live their life, technology has changed everything they do. So the holidays aren't as slow paced for them. They never stop accessing their computers, and they never stop doing what they planned on doing. So they will continuously, throughout the entire holidays, look for their new home, shop for their new home. And if you've taken your house off the market, then you're missing an opportunity to have all those viewers see that property during the holiday season. It's not that they're going to be walking through your door all day long in and out. It's that they're going to be seeing that house on the internet, and then if you get the right buyer, you may get that phone call that there's an appointment to come and view the house. If you have 2 or 3 showings throughout the entire holiday week or 2 weeks or whatever it might be, it's a lot. But those 2 or 3 buyers
That's a quality
will be the best buyers that ever see your house.
That's
Absolutely.
what you were sharing, I think a couple weeks ago too, is that when you buy during this season, you're serious.
Without a
Very
doubt.
serious.
You want that house,
Yeah.
and you want to get in there.
We have, across the island right now, we're seeing a lot of binders, we're seeing homes going into contract, and it's been an influx, and I would bet you're going to see it sometime in the first quarter.
Oh, very
They're
busy.
gonna give the numbers, and they're
Very
gonna say, wow, right after, the weather turned into December, it was pretty busy out there. So people are looking, and I agree with everything you just
Yeah.
said. The buyer quality now is even higher, and the buyer pool that's looking at 22 to, into their 40s is really out there all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like comfort, like comfort food. I think for whatever reason, we're creatures of comfort, and so food and shelter and all of those really important basics, I think, come to mind during this time of year. It's the time when you're making meatloaf, or the time that you're making the pot roast, or the time that you're,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Baking, cooking,
Correct, the whole
and having
baking
your
and all
own
those
home.
homes,
Yeah.
right?
Very true.
Yeah,
And
it's
as
a wonderful thing.
a seller, let's say you're preparing to go on the market because you're not going on at this time of year, for whatever reason, you're not prepared. And maybe you're planning on moving late, mid-spring or by June. Well, preparing your house now is important. You should be getting things ready. You should be being prepared. Because you want to be on the market right after January. Right after January.
Yes, no wait. there's less competition throughout the holiday season. Probably by the end of January, everybody starts to get their houses on the market because they finally cleaned up from the holidays, as they put it, or got themselves out of that mode, and they're, okay, back into the mode of selling their house. But you wouldn't want to be selling something when 20 or 30 or 40 other people are selling it. You'd want to be selling it when there's only 2 people selling it. You have a much better opportunity
Well,
of
your
getting
house
it sold.
stands out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it stands out.
stands
So
more.
right, the January 2nd, January 3rd, and I don't know about, and I'm sure you'll have the same thought process. I wouldn't wait to call my realtor to January 3rd. I would have already probably set up the appointment with my realtor, done the paperwork, have everything sitting in my realtor's office, and call up and say, okay, launch the paperwork and you're on the market. I wouldn't spend another week of time trying to organize a meeting or anything. Get it done now.
Well, let's
And
drill,
make it go.
let's drill into that even further. If you're meeting with your realtor now, if the sellers are meeting with your realtor, they're deciding, okay, we're gonna paint the den. Oh, we're gonna thin out some of the furniture.
Exactly.
Oh, we're going to put in some carpet. Or perhaps we're gonna, do something outside to get it prepared, paint the front door, whatever it is, clear out the basement. You're doing that this entire month. You don't wanna then first be calling your realtor in January and say, okay, what is it we need to be getting prepared to do? Because if you're doing some of that yourself, or you're having others do it, just think of the influx of people that are all gonna need help at that time of the year. Take advantage of the fact that at this time of the year, maybe you'll get that painted, they'll have a little time for you. Maybe you'll get the carpeting, because they're running sales this time of the year. So I agree with you completely, and the way I see that the agents that are out there now, they're getting a lot of appointments, they're sitting
Yeah.
down with those homeowners, and they're giving them direction for the ones that wanna wait.
And you had mentioned something about getting other people to help you with things. You know, when do you recommend sometimes people have like a staging company come in, you know, in addition to the painters, or maybe a professional organizer? You know, sometimes people get overwhelmed with their clutter, and they don't see it because it's just been that same box, it's been there year after year
Well, they don't know where to
after year.
start.
Correct, they don't know where to
They don't know where
start.
to start.
So is that something your agents sometimes will help
Quite-
them with?
Yes.
Okay.
Quite often, an agent will go visit with someone, and think about, we all have that house, the house where that is that one room where we put everything.
Okay.
Or it's in the garage, we put everything. And now you wanna put it on the market, and you don't want that room to look like it's, the place where you store everything.
Because that makes the house look like it has no storage other than that room.
And some people have homes, like you said, they get frozen in this place where they have all this stuff around, they don't know where to start. Well, yeah, there's people that will help you do one room at a time. They organize it for you, whether you're younger, older, middle-aged, everybody, sometimes gets stuck in that place. And there are people that come in and say, okay, let's make the 3 piles, and they finish that room off to the next room. And then as soon as that room is done, the painter's called in, the stage is called in, and you're preparing it. Quite often, that person that's gonna help you do the overview is the stager is there first. And then starts directing traffic for you. And says, okay, let's get somebody in to do that room.
As simple, sometimes staging is just calling in a cleaning company and have them go top to bottom, every corner, every nook, every cranny in that house, and clean it spotless, and then take everything off the counters. You also should take pictures down. I mean, if you have too many pictures, or a collage of family pictures, because a buyer likes to make the house theirs. And if they're coming in and it looks like that it's just so cluttered with your mementos, and it's hard for them to see the house as theirs. So the less of that you have, you can have a few things, but I'd start to take that down, start to pack it, start to get it ready to go.
And even your clothes in your closet. I heard a tip a long time ago is that if you color coordinate your clothes, you still might have the same amount of clothes, but if you put all your blacks together, like colors, for some reason
You put it in
visually.
my closet?
It looks good.
It looks good.
I saw both of my suits, the black one.
Well, I happen to be one of those people that just loves HGTV. I love houses, and we've talked about that before.
Yes.
And I always, I think that sometimes is good too for people to do a little research, whether it's talking to their agent or maybe watching some shows and kind of looking at your home in a different way.
Yeah.
Because growing up, we always had the junk drawer, but
Mhm.
now that my daughter's in college, Elise knows, I put the boxes in Elise's room because
Yeah.
she's not sleeping there.
Well, you only have one junk drawer, you're doing well.
She has a trunk room.
I would probably venture to say that most of the garages across Long Island would never get a car in them.
Yeah,
just
that's
from
true.
the amount of things that is. And then when you move, you're gonna throw all that stuff out anyway. You're gonna say, oh, I never use this, I don't need, throw it out beforehand.
Right.
Make somebody have the vision that if they have a car that they want in that garage, that there's a possibility of them getting it in that garage. A house that's cluttered looks like it has no storage,
Mhm.
and the first thing a buyer will say to us, there's not enough room for my stuff. Everybody's got stuff. There's nowhere for me to store my stuff. And it could eliminate them from buying a house.
Sound like George Carlin.
That's the George
You're
Carlin.
starting to
yeah.
look a little like George Carlin.
I am, actually, yeah. But it's a big deal for people, because everybody's coming with their own things, and if there's no room to put it anywhere, then they're gonna be concerned
Yeah,
about it.
very true.
Yeah,
Very,
time to
very true.
donate, time to
Yeah,
eliminate,
make
time
it
to.
go away. You want all new things in your house anyway, freshen it up and start.
Very true.
Yeah,
And it also helps them clear their heads, because now they start that journey in their minds of getting ready to go.
yeah, you gotta emotionally detach a little bit from the house. You
Yeah.
take all the memories with you, so you don't have to worry about that. But the brick and the wood and the sheetrock is what you leave behind for the new buyer to move in and make
Yeah.
their own memories.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now they're asking us to, if we have questions or listings, Brandon, I'm not sure what that pointy was.
No, that's if you wanna call in
Oh,
and
you wanna
contact
call
us.
in, yes, you could call in. You could reach us at realtyconnectsli@gmail.com, you can send us an email. You can call us here, because we're shooting at the studio Blue Chip today, which is 631-337-1603. And then there's a number that says 516-702-5406. As I said, I'm just filling in for Karin today, so I don't have all the cues, I'm usually behind the camera. Tell me about a story, perhaps, when you have seen a situation where the home was like filled with like a hoarder's home. Have you ever seen something
Yes.
go from absolutely horrible to absolutely
Yes.
beautiful? And what was that
Sure.
like? How did that sale go?
You wanna go take one, or I'll take one?
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Recently had an agent.
We won't name any names, folks,
Yes.
so
Yes.
don't worry.
Recently had an agent that had a house where the people actually built the home, has lived in the home for at least 40-something years. It looked the way you said, the room was piled with things. They were avid book readers and newspapers and collectors of things. They had traveled all over the world. And the agent said, Michael, can you just take a look at this house? This is a wonderful, client. They don't know where to start. And the artifacts were valuable and beautiful. So you walk in, the house is packed with all kinds of things, incredible books from everywhere, beautiful artifacts from all over the world, and it's a mess. And where do you start? You've got value everywhere, and yet you can't even feel the size of the room. Well, there you go. We had to bring someone in to appraise what was around, what they decided they were keeping and what they weren't. That was the first thing. You looked around and I said to the agent, the first most important thing is there's so many things here that are so beautiful and from everywhere. So that was someone that's an expert at that. That's not something, frankly, that you're gonna go right on the internet and just say, okay, let me look for someone to appraise.
You have to get somebody that
That's a
comes under
strong
recommendation.
recommendation. And, we all have that thing that's very important. And, sometimes it's worth a lot more money than you think it is. So that was, to go into, that was someone that could appraise furniture and artwork and artifacts. Then we went to the next stage, the books. Well, people aren't all just reading a nook. They like to hold that book, and some of these books were really valuable. So what did we do? We called the librarian from the local, came in and saw the value, and called the bookstore.
Oh,
She
that's so
didn't want to.
nice.
She didn't want to just throw these things out. She said, "I want," and she was donating these things. And this process was one room,
Yeah.
and the agent slowly but surely worked through that. So to answer your question, each situation is different.
Yeah, I can tell you a story that it was a heartbreak of a story, but we collect all our lives. I had a professor that lived across the street from me when I was growing up, and he collected everything. It was amazing the amount of things that he collected, and throughout even newspapers and magazines and antiques, you name it. And when you went into his house, it was actually like going through a maze, because there was so many things in the house. You could get to the maze, to this chair, and walk to this room.
Oh.
So,
This could be your house, so pay attention.
well, this is what happens to our stuff, which was just, it was a heartbreak. But unfortunately, he passed away. His family came in, they put, as you said, they got a collector in there and an antique, and they took out everything that was valuable, and then 5 30-yard dumpsters later, everything else was gone. So all those things that we hold on to and collect had no value whatsoever, other than to that person who was holding on to it and collecting it. And I would tell you that probably 80% of the things he hadn't looked at in 20 years. Because if you have a stack of books this high, or magazines that high, I doubt that you've ever seen the
Going
one
down to the
down at the
second
bottom
Wait,
of that
that third
stack.
piece on the bottom is the one that I
Yes.
want.
So,
I-
it's a difficult situation when it happens, though.
I actually saved a beautiful piece of artwork from someone's trash one time. You know, I was driving in my neighborhood, same thing. You know, the man was an artist, and very gifted one, because I have a background in art, and I could tell what he did was absolutely beautiful. The family didn't care. They just took this man's art, it made me, when you talk about
That
tear
can
jerker,
happen, yeah.
took it to the street, and I was like, that's a Nielsen frame.
Yeah.
That's a big piece of artwork.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. So it's like everybody's trash is somebody else's treasure,
Exactly, but for the most part, for this whole exercise, if you're selling your house and you have things that you plan on throwing out after you move, that you're not gonna take with you, just throw them out before, so that the house appears bigger, and when a buyer comes in, it doesn't look cluttered, it looks like a much bigger house, a much bigger room, and it has plenty of storage in it, that doesn't have your things that you,
Right.
if you're getting rid of it, get rid of it now, that's all.
And cleanliness is so important too. You
Yeah.
ever
Once
like
we
lift open
start
a window and like there's like the gunk on the windowsill?
Yeah.
I mean, because somebody looking at your home is like, they don't wanna clean your
Yes.
gunky windowsill.
Well, that
right?
goes
So-
with what we said earlier, if you hire a cleaning, you don't have to, I mean, who wants to go through that meticulous toothbrush kind of cleaning? There's companies that will come in, and for a reasonable fee, they will scrub every inch of your house, and when they leave, all of those areas, you still might have a little, everyday wear and tear dust that comes along, but all of those areas that you're talking about, when someone opens a cabinet under the stairs, you know, in the basement, it won't look like it's never been opened in 20 years.
And to
you know?
sum up the takeaway on this part is, straighten out your house now.
Yeah.
Try to be on the market in the beginning of January. It's a great time
Yes,
to be
definitely
ahead
get
of
on
the
the
market. You
market.
get to set the market pace a
Yeah.
little bit, because you're the first homes on the market. As a buyer, if we can just flip to a buyer side.
Yes.
This is also a wonderful time to be buying and looking, because you have many people that are coming up on the end of the year, they didn't want to be here for winter. They wanted to get to their grandchildren. They wanted to downsize and move west. They wanted to do something, and
They're ready
now
to go.
they're ready to
Ready to
go,
go.
and now they're pulling out all the holiday stuff, or they're motivated. There's more motivation as a seller. So if you're a buyer now, get out there again, take a hard look at it. John started the segment by saying that whole group, that Millennium group and the Echo group, they never stop during the holidays.
They're looking, yeah. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, again today, 2 more articles came out, national articles, that the rates are going up to 5%. It's a constant barrage of information coming out for the last 30 days, 40 days, about rates going up, rates going up,
You know,
rates
it's
going up.
funny. It's
Run, run with your
Buyers,
checkbook,
yeah.
run.
So-
You gotta buy a house.
And you know what's funny? I'm gonna say this, there's 3 people that are behind the camera,
Right.
that prior to going on air, we've been saying it to them every week. It's like we drum beat this at people every week. For those of you that keep coming back, and thank you for keep coming back. Well, 3 of them, they're all under 30 years old. And they look at us and we say, nothing's changed from what we said last week. You need to buy a house and you
Yeah.
need to buy it now. And they all, 3 of them that we're talking to laugh. Except for one, I have to say Brandon is dead serious, the one behind the camera.
We talked about it today, earlier.
Some way, somehow, he's buying a house by June, and it's not about his car, and it's not about this, not about that, and you're looking at 3 people that all bought our houses when we were very, 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 very young. Donna's still very, very, very young. And I will say it again, my daughter's gonna kill me, but my daughter that just got married, I said to them again, you're keeping that condo and you're buying your house before June. And
I
new
say the same
son-in-law's-
thing to both my girls. When are you gonna put a deposit on a house?
Yeah,
That's it.
so if agents are telling you, buyers out there, that this is the time, pay attention. You're all over the internet. Take a look at what the information that's flowing out there. They're telling you the rates are going up. If Fannie and Freddie and the big banks are saying it's going up, it's going up. Take
Yeah.
advantage of it now. So as a buyer, they're all gonna be out there.
And
Get out there and buy.
keep your credit scores high. don't overextend yourself, don't miss a payment on
Don't
a
buy
credit
too much at
card.
Christmas.
Because not only you'll get when a company advertises a mortgage rate, we're offering 4.6% or 4.2%. That's based on a credit score. So another buyer might go into that particular mortgage company and get 4.9% because their credit score was lower than that 4.2%. So that advertised rate is based on your financials and your credit score.
Yep.
And I also just read an article this morning, which for your homeowner's insurance, if your credit score is high, if you put all your insurance together, don't shop for your cars in one place and your home, you can receive a lower rate on your homeowner's insurance, a discount on all your cars if you bundle that package. And then, of course, the way today's is going with, you might want to look into a little bit higher deductible to lower your rate too, because there are some issues with flood insurance and things like that going on right now in the government that they're trying to stabilize that.
You just went 100 miles an hour
Yeah.
on this, that's another show.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the industry right now.
That's very important information.
you know,
We should do
You
a
can
show
save
just on
money.
insurance.
I
Okay.
just spoke at
That's
a young people's organization, and what I really spoke about is I brought to them all the grants that are available. Almost every town or municipality has a grant available for young people, first-time home buyers, to go and get free money to buy a house.
And they were a sharp group, weren't they?
They were a great group. There was attorneys there, there was
Yes,
representatives,
really
there were
good
town
questions.
officials there was representatives from the National Association of Realtors and from LIBOR, who lobby in Washington. There was a great group of people there, had some great questions, but most importantly, all we stressed in that entire meeting was, get out, get a house and get it now.
Yep,
Yeah.
and we're getting the go to the houses.
Oh, we gotta go to the
We
houses.
are,
All
okay,
right, let's go to
Brandon,
the house.
without further ado. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's see what we have.
I can't read it.
No, I need my glasses, so here we go.
I can see it, that it's 7 Park Avenue in Babylon.
7 Park Avenue in Babylon, looks like a terrific house. This is a legal two-family and by permit. And if you're gonna buy, this is a great thing for a young person, if you're gonna buy a house,
Oh, you have an income card.
You have an income
Legal
coming in.
income coming
then
in.
there's the key word, Michael. Do not buy a house as a young person with a rental apartment in it and find out that that apartment is illegal and that the town is telling you they have to move out and now you're paying much more than you anticipated on your monthly
That
mortgage
is
payment.
so important, what you just
Yeah.
said. You're gonna see an apartment, confirm it with whatever township
Has to
you're
be
in.
legal, has to have a
Make sure it's a
permit.
legal apartment, because you're gonna be counting on that as a
Mhm.
buyer, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, you're gonna find out that you can't have that. That will be wonderful, it is legal, so that's a great opportunity.
Here's another one on Huntington Station. This is a fabulous house. Look at the size of that house.
That is nice.
Fully extended upstairs on that house. Just a beautiful house, all sided, new windows, great
New
brand new
kitchen.
kitchen in there.
Nice.
Fabulous
Sad.
house, yep.
Very
Nice,
nice,
very nice.
very nice. What do we
Backyard.
have here, another one, oh, this is the yard,
Yeah.
nice. What is this one?
Oakdale.
I can't read it.
It is, Oakdale.
That's why we're selling to the younger generation. We can't read this, no.
I can't read it that way either.
Oh, Brandon, bring it a little closer to us.
This is in
Bring it
Oakdale.
all the
You're
way
gonna have to
over.
bring it over.
A beautiful house in Oakdale. We're having a little fun with these today, aren't we?
Uh-huh. Okay, 41 Featherbed Lane. You know, it's all in your address. It says here, I'll tell you what it
41
says.
Featherbed
It
Lane.
says, it's an artist colony in Oakdale. Ooh, that might be good for me. Let's see, this quaint 2-bedroom is filled with character and charm. It's got an eating kitchen with new appliances, an electric convention oven. That's great for, we're talking about
Oh, the
baking those
convection.
cookies and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, nice. That looks like a
Hardwood
three-screen
floors.
porch. Ooh,
Very nice.
very nice house. Well, here's one in West Islip,
Yeah.
on Hyman Avenue.
Yep,
4
John.
bedrooms, 2.5 baths, it's traditional colonial.
Under
These are
450.
two great agents too, Richard Accomando and John Candiano. If you need help in that area, they're great guys to talk to. Beautiful house, fireplace, den, nice sliding doors going out to the back.
And all of this.
Formal dining room, look at that dining
It's a
room.
big
Plenty of
room.
light, the windows coming in like that, beautiful.
Oh, it's got a pool.
Yeah. Think summertime, folks.
Yep.
Here's one in Melville.
Oh, I like that one too.
So you-
I love, you can tell. I
That's
love
a beautiful,
houses.
traditional Cape Cod, and they're just such a charming house. the Cape
Going for
Cod.
474,
Charming house.
new kitchen,
Love the island.
stainless steel, beautiful
This is
hardwood
good. You need a
floors.
house right away. You don't have
And
to
it's
wait for them
empty,
to move
ready to
out.
go.
Yeah.
Here's one in Bay Shore, a circa 1862 house with a huge formal rooms, so it's really kept in period, it appears.
1862, that's when I was born.
4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms,
In-ground
original
sprinklers.
wood floors, that's so wonderful.
Yeah, that's a nice charming look to it.
Kind of a nice look, Stacy Moore.
Look at that.
Wow, another house that's ready to go,
Feels
no one's
like
in there.
fireplace, ready to go.
See buyers is an opportunity right
Oh,
now.
I like that, the kitchen, the
Everything's
windows
out
like that,
there,
really nice.
wonderful houses. What do we got here?
Bayshore, let's see, ooh, let's see, oh, Huntington. 14 Bartlett Place, it's an amazing find with a private it's surrounded by nature. Builder, oh, it's builder's on it.
1.9 million.
Yeah.
So it's a builder house, if the builder built it, you know everything in there is
If he lived in it, he built the best for himself, that's for sure.
And Betty Davenport,